Next subject. Um, Listen to music that supports your values. I often think about what people consider as influence, and it's often, you would talk about uh, uh, like institutions, politics, the way the news are manipulated, uh, the church and religion, and all that. And it is true that these things influence you in great ways. But I think the greatest influence, I mean, even through news and books and all that, because people don't talk about books enough and all those things, but anything can influence you. Anything can influence you. But I specifically want to talk about music and entertainment in general. But just music um, is one of the greatest source of influence because it is silent. You're just listening to music, but it's nothing. But you don't know what music does to you and in your brain. I think music is very powerful. Not music, it just music is very powerful. It influences us to the point that it makes our body move in a way that it wouldn't without music. When you think about it, isn't that crazy? Like, it is really crazy that listening to something, I don't know if people think about dance and see what dance really is. It's like the music does something to your brain that is strong enough for you to want to lift a hand. Music is literally like, we're like puppets to music. The music, we hear it and then we just lift a leg, we turn around, we bend, we stop, we listen, we crawl. Like, when you think about it, music is so powerful, and it's not studied enough. There's a book I was reading. I haven't finished it. I have to go back to it. But anyways, the book is Musicophilia by Oliver Sacks, and he was talking about some link with music and the brain and what it does and how people uh, like he was telling the story of different people who had a weird kind of relationship with music or stuff like that. Anyways, very interesting. Um, it's a while. I read it a while back, so I can't really remember everything. But it really shifted my perspective on music and I've been wanting to. I want to learn more about that. So if any of you know books about music and the brain and stuff like that, let me know. But what was I saying? Yeah. Anyways, the music is very powerful, and you can even notice that because when you learn through music, it sticks. Like, if it's something from school, let's say your poem, you made the poem into music, you will remember it maybe like until you die. My grandmother, who was she had some kind of memory problem. I don't know exactly what it was, but she would forget people, her children, and stuff like that. But she never forgot the songs she learned. She even remembered the songs that um, that she learned in kindergarten, okay? But somehow she forgot everybody else. She forgot stuff about her identity. She forgot her children, you know, like, but she would remember songs from that period of time and that period. Um, it's like, for example, I saw a video of a lady um, who was a dancer, and she has Alzheimer's now, and they put the song for her, and she could remember the choreography throughout the song. This is something that she had performed, and she danced through it all. Like, she remembered the movements and everything. When you think about that, isn't that crazy? That music is so powerful that it triggers the deepest, oldest memories. Whatever is coupled with music becomes permanent in a way. Like songs, like it's easy to remember songs. It's easy to sing along. You sing along, and you talk. So it's like it's coupled with talking. You repeat something often, so it also does something to your brain, to your psyche. I imagine, just like prayer does, you know, and the repeating factor of it too. There's a rhythm. And then so and then it comes with it goes it's coupled with everything. Your brain, I don't know if intellect. I don't want to say words that I don't understand and then confuse you guys too. But let's say it tackles your memory, and the way you think too, because when you listen to certain music with a certain scene, it does shift your reality, your perception of that reality. If has that ever happened to you where you are crying and then there's some music and then the music stops and then you can cry no more because it's just it was the music that was kind of fueling that emotion. So just like the other way around too. Like, let's say sometimes you're kind of in a bad mood, and then they put a certain music, and then all of a sudden you feel that boost, that you're happy, you're dancing, singing in it. So it shifts your perception of reality. It triggers emotions. Okay? It makes you talk and repeat things. It is so strongly felt in the body that it makes the body react in ways that it wouldn't without music. So, yeah, this is a fascinating subject, and I would love to dive in. I'd like to know more. And this is exactly why I say listen to music that supports your value. When it comes to instrumentals, that's much more difficult to kind of like separate. What do I listen to? What do I not listen to? Because you can't really know all of the effects of music on you. Like, it's something that is too complex to do. Like, it almost impossible. But at least I think sometimes with instrumentals, you can kind of tell sometimes what to listen to, what to not listen to, because it can evoke something in you, and if you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable. And I think we can You can use that as a starting point to what you to listen to, what not to listen to. But I think for music that is accompanied with words, this is different, because the words also add something. It's something that you listen and your brain understands, and your brain, you keep it there and you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it. I made a video a while ago talking about how influence happens. Influence happens through frequency, meaning the more you do, the more you see, the more you repeat, these things become real and they become embodied in you, in your life forever. So repetition and frequency. So for example, that kind of song, let's say a random song that um, that that's out right now, that got published some time ago, and when it first got out, you just couldn't stand it, you couldn't listen to it, you wanted to puke when you listen to this, okay? But it was a hit, so it would be on the radio all the time, it would be in shops, in everywhere, in restaurants, everywhere. And at some point, you see it not too bad anymore. It becomes even a song that you sing by yourself. You're like, well, it's not too bad. And then you end up loving the song. Because the more you are, the more exposed you are to something, the more insignificant it may seem or it may become. Or the more your feelings are subject to change. So when you listen to, it's like if you, even through, I'd say through frequency, like if you're in a country where people dress a certain way, and then you travel and then you see people dressing in another way, you're like, I don't know, man, like I don't know. But the more you stay in that country, the more it kind of becomes the new norm, and then you take it because you see it so much and it's so frequent that it becomes normal. And so for other instances too, a certain behavior, a certain, let's say, idea, the more you listen, the more. Not this is not always not like, oh, you're gonna end up agreeing or adhering to something just because you hear it a lot. No, but in most cases that's how it happens. Like, it's so frequent that you start, at least even if you don't agree with it, you won't be as you won't be as, as, what's the term for it? You won't push it away like you used to. It would just become another thing, and then you're like, okay, that's not my thing, but somehow you've accepted it. And we can even talk about how homosexuality, for example, has slowly become accepted in society. And I think the fact that it was used in movies so much was one. I mean, it's one of the things that kind of made it become more acceptable to people, because people would see it so much. Before, people would be like, oh my god, I'm not gonna watch this movie. But then suddenly you're like, oh my god, okay, I don't want to see it, but let's keep this part. And then they would be like, yeah, whatever, they'll just watch it, but whatever. And then until it becomes acceptable, right? um So this is just an example to show you how influence takes place through frequency, through, yeah, through frequency. The more you see it, the more you sing it, the more you watch it, the more insignificant it becomes to you. And when it becomes insignificant, this is the line. When it's nothing, then there's no reason not to partake. I mean, it's nothing, right? Like, it's nothing. If everybody has a gun, why not have a gun, right? If, like, my neighbor has one, my best friend has one, everybody has one, like, I might as well get one. You know what I mean? So it's frequency. But meanwhile, if you go somewhere and nobody owns guns, nobody owns weapons or anything, you're gonna be like, well, I don't, should I really get one? I don't know, man. Am I gonna be the weird one here? So, yeah, I think, I mean, you get my point. You get my point. You get my point. It's like black people, when they were fighting for their rights and everything, and then they started going places they were not supposed to go. At the beginning, white people were like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this cannot happen. And then as time went by, they're like, you know what? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, frequency in music, the way we interact with it, at least, is very frequent. It's repetitive. It goes woo, 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 and you have that someone repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And then sometimes you don't even want to hear it. You still hear it because it's out there. Other people are playing their music in transportation, right? In cars, other people's cars, in restaurants, in bars, and in on social media. It's like you cannot escape it at this point. You just cannot escape it. Okay, this video is getting too long. So with music, I'd say it's much more powerful because not only does it have this impact on us, on our emotions, our perception of reality, our bodies, and our talk, like what we say. Because you could sit in front of a lecture and hear someone, pour information, and then you remain, okay, I heard it. But with music, you have this tendency of also speaking it. So it affects, it's like everything in you is influenced by music. So when there are words coupled with that, it may shift the way you think about things. And this is why I don't suggest people to, this is why I recommend to listen to music that supports your values. If you want to keep these values, listen to something that will help you. Listen to music that will shape your reality in a way that you want your reality to be shaped. Because if you listen to, let's say you want to be, I don't know, let's say there's certain things you want to do. You want to have a better mood. Let's say you want to see things in a bright light. You want to look at life with more positivity. Then listening to Lana Del Rey is not gonna help you. Lana Del Rey is not going to help you have a more positive view of the world. She's not. And she has beautiful songs. But these songs are meant to keep you whining, to keep you crying, because she's making these songs in that state of mind, which is okay. Like if you're going through pain, and even if you kind of need that to these songs to help you pour, okay, just get rid of these bad feelings and everything that's going on, and you just need this song to put you in that space where you need to cry. It's okay. Like these songs are, and sometimes if you done with that pain, maybe you can detach enough not to let the song impact you in that way. But um, it is very important to know what to listen to, and that happened to me. I may go in depth in another video regarding this part, but that happened to me where I was going through something and I used to listen to songs that were very depressive, very in the mindset that I was, and they helped at the beginning, but afterwards they became a problem because they maintained me in that bubble of sadness for too long. It's like they would recreate the feelings that I was trying to escape from. And these were songs that I loved. I loved them, but I just had to stop listening to them for a while because, in order for me to just in order for me to be free. So if you want to, for example, you want to be someone, you want to work on your you want to on your integrity, you want to do on your ethics, there are certain people you can't listen to because their songs evoke betrayal, lack of empathy and respect for others. They will, and these are not things that are gonna help you work on that. If you don't want to, if you want to, for example, take care of your, let's say you don't want to be promiscuous. You don't want to be promiscuous and you want to, you want a meaningful relationship, then maybe you should not listen to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion telling you to whop, to clean the floor with your vagina. Because that's just not it's going to become a clash between what you want and what you do not want. So, it just depends on what you want. But if you want, I'm not saying just stop listening to this music altogether. Because at some point, you go party and whatever. Everybody has their taste. Everybody has their whatever. Listen to whatever you want. But the warning is that what you listen to will end up shaping your reality, because through frequency, that thing that was once appalling, that was once unbearable, that you couldn't listen to, that you couldn't even imagine, then becomes insignificant. And insignificance is the line between doing and not doing. So remember that. Okay.